Welcome to the Prado Museum. We're here with our weekly session in English on the social media programming, a project that's brought to you by our nonprofit, American Friends of the Prado Museum. And we always thank our members and donors that make this and all of our projects possible. And I want to remind everyone that the first Tuesday in March, our Masterpieces Introduction course begins. And these are 4 classes, 1 hour each, taught in English through the month of March, taught by my colleague, Dr. Whitney Dennis, and in a classroom nearby the Prado. And we also have an online version for everyone around the world. You can find out all of the information on our website, American Friends of the Prado Museum website, the information and how to contact us and sign up if you choose. So thank you. And today I'm really excited to be in room 57. I'd like to draw attention to this enormously remarkable altarpiece behind me that presides over this room, and this is remarkable in many ways. First of all, we're so fortunate to have it here as a loan from the heirs of the promoters. And the promoters, as we will see, this is called the Altarpiece of the Gozos of Santa Maria, and we know it's by an artist called Jorge Inglés. And we're so fortunate to have this because it's a really pioneering, innovative work. We know that is the first oil painting in Castile. And we know the name thanks to the Marquis of Santillana, who's the promoter along with his wife, Catalina Suárez de Figueroa. They are the promoters of this work, and thanks to their instruction that he gave, we know that the artist's name is Jorge Inglés. And so Jorge Inglés translates to George English, and his last name could be an origin last name, whether he or his father came from England. Well, we also think, we don't know anything else concrete about Jorge Inglés, but we think he was probably trained in the Low Countries, maybe near Van der Weyden. And he might have been working also with the Marquis illuminating manuscripts in his library. And so it's remarkable that we know the artist, so it's not an anonymous work, and it's the first work of oil. And then it's also remarkable for these monumental portraits of these Castilian nobles. And these are so remarkable in the fact that we have no other portraits of Castilian nobles at the time. This is the reign of John II of Castile, and he's the father of Isabel la Católica. So they're super large portraits, and we know they're painted around 1455 or a little bit earlier, and they're remarkable in size. They're remarkable also in the realism of the face, the realism and individualism, and this has to do with the new technique of oil, what it can do, and also the new ideas. We're progressing towards the modern age, the importance of the growing importance of the individual. And each are in a private room and palace, an attitude of prayer. And they're praying towards a figure of the Virgin in the center. And this is a replacement. The original sculpture that was commissioned by the Marquis is lost. We don't know where it is, and this is a replacement, but it would have been similar. And so they're both praying to the Virgin. And below, they each have for example, the Marquis is here with his San Francisco cross, and he's dressed in this gorgeous black velvet, and he has a page behind him, or a squire behind him, who's also in a ready position, and with landscape. Each have landscape. And below in the altar are the 4 founding fathers of the Western Catholic Church. No? So there's interest in the ideas, but what is really remarkable is what we have above in this altarpiece. And what we have are 13 poems, 12, this is where we get the name, they're the poems to the Gozos, or the joys of the Virgin. So these are like the Rosary, they are the Annunciation, the Visitation, the birth of Christ, the presentation at the temple, all of the Christian celebrations, the joys of Mary, and here they're extended to 12. But the amazing thing is that they are written by this Marquis. They are written, they're his poems, and they are probably written at a pilgrimage stop at the monastery of Guadalupe, where he's writing these prayers to the Virgin in poetry. They follow a formal format of 8 lines with 8 syllables in each line, and the 6th line is only 4 syllables, and they follow a rhyming format of A, B, B, A, C, D, D, C. And so it's remarkable for a man of the sword, which is what Íñigo López de Mendoza, as heir to the house of Mendoza and heir to the house of La Vega, the Castilian, 2 great Castilian houses, that he would also be a great man of letters. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about him because I think it adds so much to approaching this work. So he was a soldier. He's a soldier by family tradition. His 2 grandfathers died in a Castilian battle against Portugal, fighting for John I of Castile. One of his grandfathers saved the king's life by giving him his horse and therefore sacrificing himself. And thanks to the honors or territories that were given to this family in thanks, he also maintained an army that he would participate as a politician and a warrior in the wars of his time with John II of Castile. So a very important facet is being a man as a soldier. And then he's also the most intellectual humanist probably at the court in Castile. He has the best private library. He's interested in writing. He's known for his own writings of poetry, but even Proverbs, where he makes out a kind of a treatise on wisdom and counsel for the young prince, the future king. He has manuscript illuminators working for him. He's working with literary agents, bringing in books from all around Europe. So he's very intellectual and interested in writing. And so when he marries Catalina Suárez de Figueroa, which is a great match. She's the daughter of the head of the Order of the Knights of Santiago. They have 10 children. They also, 10 children, one of whom, their oldest son, is right here. And this will be the first Duke of the Infantado. So this is their oldest son in this portrait. So it's nice to have the 2 right together for this family lineages. And the first Duke of Infantado will be named so by Isabel la Católica, just like they are named the first Marquis of Santillana by Juan II. So they have all these children, but they're successful. They also fund many good works. And so what we know is that this altarpiece was sent to their hospital in Buitrago de Loyoza, and it was there where their image would continue and where his devotion to the Virgin and these poetries to her would be praying with his faith to, after a long life, take them both to heaven. And I just think understanding more the context and knowing that he wrote these poems helps us really approach this large work, because they're very difficult to read. And honestly, I can't read them from here, but they are downloadable from an article on the Prado Museum's website for those who are interested in Spanish literature and literature students. That they are downloadable in an article from the Prado's website, and you can read his poetry. And so a very interesting figure, and we're so lucky to have it here. This kind of like a Flemish triptych applied to a Castilian altarpiece. Thanks to this figure who was very cultured, knew of all of the artistic tendencies happening in Europe, and brought this first innovation to Castile. So thank you very much for being with us today, and we'll see you again next week.